An NBA insider just dropped a bombshell Rockets report on a contract extension not just for Kevin Durant, but also for Tari Eason. Today, we give you major updates on the Rockets' long-term plans that involves decisions being made right now. Welcome into Rockets Digest, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. Lots of stuff to talk about. Brian and Windhoarst talked a lot about the Rockets' plans long-term and what exactly he sees coming up for a Kevin Durant contract extension. Plus, we have an update for you on Tari Eason. Before that, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've noticed that over 65% of you who watch these videos are not yet subscribed. What are you waiting for? We've got daily Rockets coverage, and of course, we're going to be having game streams, we're going to be having shorts. We've got a bunch of stuff on this channel that you do not want to miss, so hit that subscribe button to stay in tune and informed on your Rockets team. Okay, let's go to the headline for today. An NBA insider gives an exact Kevin Durant update that Rockets fans needed to hear. It's a perfect time to talk about this for a multitude of different reasons. Kevin Durant can get an extension with the Houston Rockets, I believe, all the way until June 1st. This does not have to happen until the start of the season. But Tari Eason, on the other hand, can get an extension all the way from now until October 20th. After October 20th, there is a deadline after that. So, with that being said, the Rockets' plans long-term are starting to come into shape each and every single day. Now, what exactly is the update? Well, let's kind of start with the backstory and go from there. We start first with an article from James Piercy of Space City Scoop, in which he says, the Houston Rockets acquired Kevin Durant in pursuit of short-term goals, but they can't forget about their long-term outlook. ESPN's Brian Windhoarst says they won't. According to him, Durant may accept less than a max contract in Houston. Now, that is critical to the Houston Rockets' success, not just for right now, but in the way that has set up the Houston Rockets to make this move. And we've heard Rafael talk about it so many times. We've heard this Houston Rockets front office say, we want to win now. That is what we are doing. We are a win-now organization. But you also can see in the back of their mind, the way they plan out these things, they know that they have a potential dynasty on their hands. And so, how can they win now while also creating that dynasty format that we are starting to see into shape? Well, let's start kind of talking about what the Rockets can and can't afford. That's the wrong one. We go into another article here. James Piercy of Space City Scoop saying, quote, that's not just good, it's essential. The Rockets can't afford to give Durant the max. That's not to say he won't deserve it, but the Rockets are hoping Durant can perform at a max level for at least 2 more seasons, end quote. And this is something we have discussed multiple times here. Durant, when he was traded to Houston, which, by the way, he very much orchestrated this trade to get him to a place in which he wanted to be, Houston. After that trade was made, he very quickly said he wanted to stay here long term. And reports that come out that he was willing to take less on a max extension to help the Rockets acquire more talent and pay the talent they have and make sure they stay in Houston. Well, now what's the big update? That's where we go to Brian Windhoarst here saying, quote, there's Amen Thompson and Tari Eason to consider. 2 young players who are in positions to be paid new deals over the next year. In the end, Durant might need to accept less than a maximum contract, which he has been on since 2011, if he wants to stay in Houston, end quote. Now, that is obviously a big thing to start there. They know that Durant really needs to accept less. But the positive, where is that? That's where we go to this tweet. The Rockets and Kevin Durant have had discussions about a new contract, and, quote, there is belief they will come to terms. Now, obviously, there is 2 extensions right now being talked about across the Houston Rockets landscape. It's Kevin Durant and it's Tari Eason. And there is growing, let's say, momentum that Tari Eason is going to get a contract here soon as well. In fact, we got this report just a couple days ago saying the Rockets have had positive communication on a possible Tari Eason extension per Kelly Iko of The Athletic. Now, they want to finalize an extension sooner rather than later, but it's more likely to drag out until the start of the 2025-2026 season, which is very fine. Like I said, they have until October 20th to officially extend Tari Eason. The season starts on October 21st when the Rockets open up play against the Oklahoma City Thunder for their banner night, and hopefully at that point Kevin Durant is under contract, Tari Eason is under contract. But again, there is money to consider. There is points of interest. The good thing here, Kevin Durant's money this year is not going to change. There is no difference there. Tari Eason's money is not going to change. But Kevin Durant is worth the pennies and dollars that you need to give him. Last season, not only did he play to a fantastic level, but he actually had the best percentage of getting to the basket and scoring when he was placed in one-on-one situations. There are stats that you love about Kevin Durant, and I understand that when we first talked about Kevin Durant and the potential trade coming to Houston, now him being here, there were some people that talked about that he's old and he's going to be turning 37 soon. And do we really want to be paying that guy that amount of money? And while I understand your point, I sit here and question a lot of things when I look at these stats and see that he's been playing to an elite caliber level for his entire career. Even after tearing his Achilles, this guy has gotten better. He is one of the only NBA players in history to tear his Achilles and then after coming back from the injury still play to the same level and sometimes even better. And the big thing about it, and I think James Piercy puts it absolutely perfectly, it's not about Durant's value. It's about the Rockets' cap situation. The hope is that Durant understood that they had critical pending negotiations to settle when he landed in Houston, which, by all accounts, he knew that. Now, he needs to know that for this thing to work. He needs to take a discount. The question for Kevin Durant. We've talked about how it seems like Kevin Durant coming to Houston has been seen in a different light. He's been more of a leader. He's been more of a, I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to be a good teammate. Not that he wasn't a good team in the past, but we know that maybe the leadership values weren't exactly there with him. And so for that, and being now in Houston, a place that, like I said, he had orchestrated trades. Like he had orchestrated it to get to this point. Kevin Durant is in a very good spot, but he needs to take the contract at a little bit of a discount. And so in that situation, what does the money look like? Well, here is what James Piercy of Space City Scoop says. Quote, let's establish a basic fact. Durant is going to get paid. He is going to make an amount of money that most mortals can't comprehend. By the way, mortals is crazy to say, but whatever. This isn't going to be a shockingly low dollar number. Something in the neighborhood of $45 to $50 million seems appropriate. Durant is set to make $54.7 million this year, so $45 to $50 million would represent a slight discount. And it's true. If you can get him for less than max, which, by the way, max probably going to be about $55, $56 million, if that is what he's going for to get a max contract, and you get him for, let's say, on the higher end of that $45, $50 million, $49 million, you're still saving nearly $7 million. That is something that is very key, very good for the Houston Rockets as an organization. And in a lot of ways, it's something that needs to happen because, like I said, if you look at these two players, specifically Amen Thompson, you want to keep this guy around. 14.1 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game, and he is going to keep getting better. He's only 22 years of age. And Tari is going to be able to get that extension after this season. Amen. Now, Tari, on the other hand, he can get an extension right now. He is one of the best role players in the NBA, in my opinion. And for that reason, I believe he should get that extension. And the big question is, who gets it first? Who is more important? Who's the guy that takes over in that extension race? Because whoever gets it first, it's going to tell us a lot about what is coming next. Now, do I hope that both of them can get done? Yes. But if you look at the first apron, which is in what Rafael Stone has mentioned, by all accounts, a hard cap area for the Rockets, then if Kevin Durant gets a max extension, you have to be ready to say goodbye to Tari Eason next year. If Kevin Durant gets a max extension, there is questions about what's going to happen with Tari, what's going to happen with Amen. So I ask you as Rockets fans, would you rather sign Kevin Durant and make sure he stays here, or keep Amen Thompson and Tari Eason for the next 4 years? That's the question I end with today here on Rockets Digest. If it's me, there's a way to do both, and that's what I want. But let's say push comes to shove. I'm taking Amen and I'm taking Tari, and I'm saying we got 1 year of Kevin Durant, and, that's okay. It'd be a complete fumble from what we were trying to establish here, but Amen and Tari over 5 years is more important than Kevin Durant over 2. That's the way I look at it, and Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but we'll have to wait and see, because if an extension comes, things are going to be flying fast after that. So with that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because things are going to happen very, very soon. We've got a lot of reports, a lot of news, a lot of updates, and when things do happen, we're going to have a video out to you here first on YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.